Anyway, all right. So back to cannabis headlines with Rick Thompson. Go ahead.
Well, Mike, thank you. Hello again, everyone. This is the Cannabis News with Rick Thompson on 420 Post. Let's begin. Our first story is Loom gets broomed. Yeah, that's right. Loom Cannabis Company has lost their lawsuit to challenge the decision of Tiny Pinkney to award a cannabis retail license to someone else. How dare they? If this sounds familiar, you probably remember Loom sues every community who says no to them, including Mount Pleasant, Evart, the list goes on. Pinkney has authorized only one retail location, and Loom finished third out of 3 in scoring for that solo spot. The scoring rubric gives bonus points for owner residency in the community, having a clean energy plan, and choosing to operate the retail business in a vacant or distressed building, according to Green Market Report's Deborah Borchamp. Loom, not a resident, they did not submit an energy plan, and they didn't seem to care about the location they chose. Still, when they lost, they sued under the pretense that having a residency requirement was against the law, and where you locate the business is not regulated by the state's MRTMA legalization law. The federal judge says, hey, cities can choose their own criteria. Residency is not automatically discriminatory. The winner of the cannabis retail license is the Means Project. But the real winner of this lawsuit is the village of Pinckney, which will not be saddled with an overly litigious cannabis retailer in their midst. To litter or not to litter? That is never the question. You do not put litter into my world, period. Having said that, you might want to bury your roaches after a new product is launched in Michigan, where flower seeds are placed inside the filter tip of your commercially available cannabis pre-roll. Yeah, it's cool. The filter, not made of paper, it's made of beeswax, and the seeds are embedded inside the wax. Examples I've seen are for red poppy seeds, which, despite being poppies, are completely legal to grow in Michigan. I have them in my backyard, and they grow 15 feet tall. Great for attracting pollinators like butterflies and hummingbirds. The company is Golden Shores Cannabis, and they're a Michigan-based entity. 3 things to understand. 1, don't litter by throwing them on the ground, bury them. Number 2, beeswax takes a while to biodegrade, so crunch it between your fingers before burying. You can't really hurt these tiny little seeds in that way. But 3rd, place them in a place where someone's not going to mow them down because they're in somebody's yard or on the grounds of a public building like the Capitol. Cannabis sales in Michigan took a downward turn in March as compared to February, even though March has 10% more days than February does. Ouch. Now, in 2021, March's cannabis sales shot up dramatically over the previous month, but here this year in 2022, total sales figures were down by 1%. Medical cannabis sales increased significantly, but adult use sales fell by 6%. Cannabis wholesale pricing rose in March by 19% to over $3,000 per pound, and perhaps that rising wholesale cost might be that cause-effect relationship to explain March's downward trend in cannabis retail sales. 2 quick notes before I get to my final story. Catch Ryan Basor on the Cannabis Regulatory Agency's Social Equity broadcast tomorrow. Basor was the state's first recipient of a social equity grant, which he received from Gage Cannabis, and then launched that line of redemption cannabis products. Should be an interesting bit of conversation. And then there's my favorite 420 event this year at Lighten Up Provisioning Center in Flint, where we'll be giving away 5 pounds of cannabis, 2 pounds for military vets and 3 pounds for everyone else. I'll be there, along with Redemption, the Hero Project, many others too. And in our final story, today is the grand day. Michigan's marijuana regulatory agency is officially switching names to the Cannabis Regulatory Agency. Governor Whitmer earlier this year dumped some of the state's hemp regulatory functions onto the MRA's lap and rewarded them by authorizing a name change. It's kind of like the equivalent of running over your neighbor's toes with a lawnmower and then offering them ice cream to make up for it. Now, I spoke to the director at the end of March, who confirmed that the regulatory agency had been given 0 additional employees to handle the extra workload, just like government. The duties were reassigned from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, who still controls the issuance of licenses to grow hemp. You can spell it with an H, you can spell it with a J, but the term marijuana is a slave name that just needs to go away. And that's it for the Cannabis News with Rick Thompson on 420 Post. Mike, we're not going to try that special thing we were talking about because I have to go off I'm getting terrible rain right now and I have to fix my house.
Ah, okay. All right. So we won't do he was going to do the logo change where the MRA logo disappears and the CRA logo comes in. So we'll save that for another time. But speaking of lighting up, I've already talked to one of our guests here, Kyle, about that. As we're going to be doing a live remote next week. It happens to be 420 on Wednesday. And what do we do on Wednesdays? We do the show. So we'll be up in Flint. I'll be up there. Of course, Rick just said he'd be there. And then, of course, Jamie will still be on the other side of the state, but will be the show as usual, except some of us will be together rather than all virtual. Yay, huh? All right. Speaking of Jamie Cooper, let's go to her now with her cannabis events.
Oh my gosh, there's just so many events. Like every week, we have more and more events. First one we want to talk about, 420 is coming up. I'm happy to say that our 420 grab bags, 1 week from today, they're going to be available. They'll be available at 20 different stores throughout the state, one of them being Lighten Up, which we'll be talking to this hour. And those bags are packed full of there's 13 THC products in those bags. You go to your local retail center, make sure you line up early because they are going to go quick. A lot of people want to get their hands on those bags, but those will be available to the general public beginning on April 20th and probably only on April 20th. I know Rick and Mike are going to get their hands on those bags. So is Dan. And then also on April 20th and 21st is the Michigan Cannatech Expo that's being hosted by emerging cannabis professionals. They are the ones that hosted the Birch Run Festival a few years ago, a couple years in a row. And that is the 20th and 21st at the Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant. And then April 23rd, we have the 420 Music Festival. We'll be talking to Dan a little bit later this hour. Super excited. It's licensed for consumption and sales. Lots of great headlining artists going to be a part of that event and cannot wait to talk to Dan about it a little bit later this hour. On the 30th is the Float Presents Reggae on the River Music Festival with Kamani, Marley. And then we're looking at May. In May, Sensi will be hosting a Women in Cannabis potluck and pamper party. So if you are a woman working in the cannabis industry and you want to attend that potluck and pamper party, let me know. Shoot me an email, jamie.cooper@sensymag.com. Be happy to give you an invite. Later in May, on May 18th, is the MLive Cannabis Insights event at the Garden Theater. You can go to events.mlive.com/cannabis insider for information on that. That's going to be an all-day event. We're going to be doing an after party that evening on May 18th. And then May 23rd is the Hazy Holes. I think it's second or third annual, but it's the Hazy Holes Golf Scramble that is hosted by Rick Antis. And then our next virtual speed networking event for Scentsy Connects is going to be April 6th. We're skipping April 20th out. Excuse me, May 6th. We're skipping out.
I think it's already passed, but go ahead.
We're going to skip out on April 20th because we'll all be busy that day. It is the National Weed Holiday. So, and then keep your eyes peeled for the CannaCon after party. CannaCon will be coming back to Detroit July 22nd and 23rd, and we're going to be hosting the official after party at Trust Lounge just a block away. I'm ready to party. The weather's getting warmer, although we have storms hitting Michigan today.
Oh, yeah.
The temperatures are getting warmer. We're all itching to get outside, and the calendar is getting packed.
Well, let's hope that this year's CannaCon party doesn't have the same hurricane that hit last year's CannaCon party when we got 6 inches of rain in one day. That was an event, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Let me throw in two in your event calendar on May 20th and 21st. It's the Midwest Hemp and Cannabis Expo at the Lansing Center. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be moderating some of the panels. I'll be one of the MCs for the award show. that young Anton Harb Jr. is going to be there talking about the Hero Project. And again, it's not just hemp this time, it's cannabis, and it's really a trade show like a lot of these other shows. And so, I mean, essentially, all these product and service folks service both sides of the THC spectrum. So it's something to check out at ihempmichigan.org, no, .com, excuse me. So anyway, let's now go to Dan Sparrow. I see him pacing around out there. He's way up north, I believe in Marquette, right, Dan?
Yeah, we're in Marquette today, and I'll explain a little bit more about the location as this goes on. But I just wanted to show everybody one of the little lost gems up here in the UP, Cannabis Lupus Cafe. It was an old client of ours way back from 2018. And we're going to go inside and look around the store a little bit. Deborah Haralja, she's actually the license holder.
Looks like it's raining up there too, right?
Yeah.
So
and CannaBash as well. And this is the little waiting room. We're actually going to get a nice little tour of a dispo today. So, and then coming inside, obviously, we're going to protect the people that are shopping in here. But here's some of the staff and some of the wonderful products that they have in here. Uplifting is somebody that is doing the VIP dab bar for us, and I'll be showing you some of those products here in a second. But just to give you a little feel, Deb came here back in 2018 and started out in a very small 600 square foot shop, and she's expanded to 1,200 square foot. But by dispensary models, that is fairly small. So now I'm going to flip it back around, and we're going to go back in this little office because we want to protect the HIPAA on these folks. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to sit down here. We're going to look at a couple of these products. First off, I want to show this. I'm shaking a little bit because it was cold outside. Can everybody see these Redbud roots? These are infused pre-rolls, and I had a couple of these last night. They were amazing. Doinks from Pyramid, another good company. But this is what we're really going to look at, and Jamie Cooper can appreciate this. So this is the latest and greatest from this uplifting company up north. They're in Crystal Falls, and this is their half and half. They have some really amazing packaging. It's magnetic. Here we go. And then we're going to try to get this opened up here. Holding my phone and doing this is just a little tricky.
Do we need to send a photographer your way, Dan?
Well,
you gotta love live, right? So
this is what these are going to look like. They're doing a lot of these half and half so people can get the full enjoyment of everything. And these guys are starting to offer some cards now, and they're getting into some other things, and they're really nice people. And I mean, this packaging is just amazing. So he's also going to be doing, like I said, the VIP dab bar at CannaBash. So I wanted to give him a shout out. Rare is going to be doing the general admission dab bar. So there's going to be lots of great things for everybody to do at CannaBash. And I just wanted to give this beautiful little gem up here a shout out. I was going to stop up at Northern Specialty and see Penny, but she wasn't available. So I just try to see the people I can while I'm up here. And, you know, they're not so affected by the MCMA up here in the UP. Like, it's not even really talked about or considered. But Deb has done a wonderful job in filling this store with non-MCMA products, and they're priced right, and they would love to see anybody. If you're in the UP at all, I would highly recommend stopping in at Cannabis Lupus. I do have a few notes I had written down. I'm really disorganized because I'm normally sitting in front of my computer, but Cloud Cover is going to be one of their main suppliers here with flour and concentrates and whatnot. Some other flour companies that they carry are Glacier, Doghouse, Heavyweight Heads. Another shout out to some more acts coming to CannaBash with Willie J. Peso and Trick Trick. Concentrates, you know, the dabbables, waxes, butters, batters. Pyramid, Uplifting that we showed you, obviously still Cloud Cover too. Carts, they carry some of the good ones. You know, they got the Steezy, Pyramid, Crude Boys. Edibles, the wild edibles, which I see are starting to pop up more and more and more out of Colorado. They're wonderful. The Moho edibles, the chocolates and stuff, and then some Shatterhouse gummies. The wonderful people here at Cannabis Lupus Cafe have also offered up a 20% discount for mentioning this podcast. So I definitely recommend for anybody that's in the UP to stop here. It's pretty much covered by Loom and Firehouse. There's not a lot of mom and pa's up here. And so I just want to give that special shout out to people that are doing it, you know, the way the culture has always done it. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Hey, Dan, that half and half that you talked about, is that diamonds and terp sauce? Is that what those half and half are?
That one was diamond and live resin. I do have some diamonds here also. They do different half and halves. I've seen sauces and shatters actually. And I know people are a little down on the shatter, but when the shatter is actually clear as glass, I don't know that you can, you know, really say a whole lot of stuff about this. I did go and check out his facility and it is absolutely amazing. And I would love for anybody that is interested in any of his products to reach out to myself or to Uplifting. And like I said, all their products are going to be on display. He's going to have his cannabis cup submissions available for people to sample at the VIP at CannaBash.
All right. Well, thanks, Dan Sparrow. So now let's bring in Tom Lavigne. Go ahead and unmute there, Tom.
Hello.
How you doing? So
Great. How's everybody?
Thomas, we're calling him Sir Thomas today because he got a crown. So, but you're doing well after being in the dentist's office. So we appreciate you joining.
Yeah. I got lucky this time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Cannabis Council and what you guys do. And if you excuse me for just a moment, unfortunately, I have someone at my door. So go ahead, and then Rick, why don't you go ahead and do the interview for me and pick it up while I figure out what's going on with these folks.
Tom's my very good friend. This will be easy to do. Go ahead, Tom. Talk to us about what's going on.
So Cannabis Council, we have 5 attorneys doing nothing but cannabis. It was started by my partner, Matthew Abel, who actually started Cannabis Council in 1999. So we've been, as a firm, we've been at this quite a long time, and we're helping businesses get licensed and with local permitting and whatever other legal needs you have, such as compliance or complaints, contending with any regulatory complaints or violations. And we're at CannabisCouncil.com. It's great to see everyone this morning.
Well, Tom, that's a pretty lame evaluation of who you are. So let's fully flesh this out, okay? Not only are you a board member of Michigan NORML, you're also the incoming chairperson for the cannabis law section of the State Bar Association of Michigan. Isn't that true?
Yes. You
kind of undersold yourself, buddy. You really did. This is a great interview, man.
Yeah. We've been involved quite a while, and we're also members of the National Legal Committee for NORML. So we enjoyed those seminars quite a bit. I was just down to Key West with lawyers from all over the country, and we've really built a good friendship of lawyers across the whole country with that group. So we usually get together twice a year and share our war stories and see what's going on in other states and try to learn from them. So that's a fun group as well. And then I'm involved in the International Cannabis Bar Association. My partner Matt's on the board of that. So that's been interesting. We went to a conference in New York and met lawyers from all over the world, Uruguay, Colombia, Germany, just hearing about the exports, that were being coordinated between Colombia and Germany, and seeing some of those advancements are pretty interesting to see develop.
Tom, you talked about all the fun people down in Florida at that lawyers retreat, which I'm sure it was a lot of fun, but let's talk about some unfun people in Hazel Park. It would be an injustice to have you on the show and not talk about the recent breaking news. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yes. We had been working with Hazel Park. They seemed to be on board with this temporary event that we were planning June 18th and 19th in a park in Hazel Park. And it's unfortunate, but Channel 2 News did a little smear story on it last week. And the Ferndale city manager voiced his concerns for some reason. I guess Hazel Park is subservient to Ferndale. And so anyways, last night, the city council voted to not approve of the event. So we are seeking other venues right now. We're trying to line up the Rooster Tail or the Russell Industrial, or we have a half a dozen other potential venues that we're vetting right now. We'd like to go forward with those dates if possible, but it may have to change the date depending on what we can find.
Tom, that's kind of a surprise from Hazel Park, because Hazel Park has been relatively compliant with cannabis industries. They have a number of cannabis retailers there. BDT's Pipe and Tobacco Shop has a long-standing facility in Hazel Park. I mean, it's one of those places where we've traditionally had some success with cannabis law reform movements in the past. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is. So we were, optimistic. And really, they gave us every indication that it was going to work. We sat down with their police chief and fire chief, fire marshal, the whole staff, Parks and Rec, and we were able to meet each and every one of their requests. But unfortunately, at the last minute, they sort of moved the goalpost despite meeting every one of their concerns. They voted against it. And I think, it's unfortunate, but the naysayers tend to show up at these city council meetings, and people who smoke marijuana, they don't necessarily want to come out in public and admit that and show up in support. While we did have some support even on the council, it wasn't quite enough to get it through. So we just assume look elsewhere.
Yeah, the power of media to affect public perception. Isn't that just crazy? One bad story by a Fox 2 News anchor rather, and then the best laid plans. It doesn't.
Let me ask you, Tom, now that I'm back, is this going to cost you guys some money? I mean, apparently you put a lot of money into this. Can you just, as you find a new venue, or is it going to cost a lot of money to change?
Well, if it all goes down as planned, we're hoping to at least break even. If not, yeah, we're standing to lose quite a bit of money. Because we had some pretty big names, for the music festival planned. So, but we're optimistic that we'll be able to find another venue and make it happen. Hoping to break even, really, just trying to raise awareness in Metro Detroit. Maybe the city of Detroit is the proper place anyways. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just say this. I mean, clearly the Rooster Tail has some history with the cannabis industry with some of the events they've hosted in the past. The Russell Industrial Center has been, kind of an illegal market hub for a very, very long time. I know there's still quite a few industrial cultivation situations in the Russell. But, Cannabis Council itself in Detroit, I mean, we talked about your credits, but Cannabis Council has really been there over the years. We launched Repeal Today in 2012 from Cannabis Council. MI legalized in 2016, essentially from Cannabis Council. And when we had the victory celebration the night of November 6, 2018, Cannabis Council is where we were at. So, I mean, your partner, Matt, and yourself and the other attorneys and workers at Cannabis Council have really been there for our community for a long time. And we should absolutely let all of our viewers know exactly the role you've played in our history.
Yeah, we're proud of being that meeting place, and we're going to continue to have our events there at the law office, and we look forward to seeing all of you at future organizing events, whatever we need to do next. but it's been really gratifying to see the petitions, arise out of that center. And it's nice having that as a meeting place. It's become somewhat of a museum. We have all the Time magazine covers and all the Newsweek covers, whatever marijuana is on the cover. We have those framed up, and all kinds of different posters and stuff through the history of the movement. So that's been fun to put together.
Yeah, I have to say that it is such an honor to be able to light up in your offices. It's such an impressive space. Like, can you tell our audience a little bit about just the history beyond you guys just being there and making it this kind of memorabilia space for cannabis?
Sure. Yeah. That space there actually goes way back into my childhood. I was growing up, and that was a rock and roll radio station when I was a child. So we would hear interviews of rock stars, and we'd overhear them toking on the microphone. Yeah, I have a concert at Cobo Hall, and we'd all be laughing as high schoolers, and here we are sitting in that very studio this many years afterward. And my high school didn't have a varsity soccer, when I was young, and I was lobbying for it. And we had W4 radio station sponsor our soccer team, that we played other cultural centers and stuff back in the 70s when soccer wasn't so big, but it was big at all the cultural centers. So we played the Polish Cultural Center, the Italian Cultural Center, all the various Polish. But it was good competition. It was a good little league that we had. W4 Bruisers was our name. So there's another connection with that. Here we are back at W4. So it's pretty neat. And before that, my father had a pizzeria on Jefferson. My oldest brother, Larry, used to deliver pizza over there. So it goes way back. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Tom. Why don't you stay with us for the second half hour if you're able, and let's bring in it's just turning into the event show here. Let's bring in the other folks who are doing events. We got Kyle. It's Cohee, right? I've never pronounced it correctly.
No, you pronounced it just right.
All right, perfect. And then Anton Harb, I can pronounce his name, Jr. He's our Hero Project Veterans Advisor. And let's also bring in Dan Doyle. Now, these are different events going on. And actually, I'll bring Jamie back in. She's our event lady. So why don't you shepherd us through these various events, Jamie?
Awesome. Happy to. I love, if we look back, it was Kyle and his team and Anton did an amazing project back around Thanksgiving. How many turkeys did you guys give away?
1,000.
1,000. Every one of those turkeys went into some great hands and to some big bellies, I'm sure. But you guys have another awesome project that you're working on for 420. Tell us a little bit about that. I know you guys are giving away a lot of weed.
Yeah, giving away a lot. So yeah, I mean, it was funny. We were talking about this morning, saying, okay, where are we at with this whole thing? I mean, right now we have 11 vendors coming in during the day, all through the day. We have, I think, slated right now over 600 pre-rolls that are going to be donated out throughout the day as people buy. We have the Scentsy Bags that are going to be happening. So I believe it was I think I came up with around 7 pounds of marijuana that's going to be shuffled through that day. And what we're really excited about is we're doing the 5-pound giveaway, and it's kind of neat. So, of course, as being a veteran-owned company, we've came about and said, hey, we got to do something with veterans as always. And we, got on the phones again, got people interested in donating a pound of marijuana. And we got 5 vendors with a lot more that wanted to come on. I just had to stop it somewhere. And we got, which is amazing. I appreciate everyone that's reached out.
What a great problem to have.
A huge problem. And I'm just sitting here like, man, I can't get my own ticket. I want my own ticket. So
basically what we got Redemption Cannabis came in and gave us a pound. Valor Craft came in, gave us a pound. Ubake came in, gave us a pound. Frosted Farms, which if you ever heard of Frosted Farms, amazing product. They're giving us, I believe it was, I think it's Wedding Crash or Wedding Pie or something like that. It's like a 30%er. And then we got Gold Kind coming in with a whole bunch of prepackaged. And Valor Craft, what they're doing is they're doing everything in reusable creative jars. So they're doing all the ounces in that as we give it away. There's going to be 41 winners total throughout. There's 2 different programs. So we got 3 pounds dedicated just for patients. So how we're going to do this, the first one with that is you spend $50 at the store, you get a raffle ticket per transaction. So as many transactions as you do, you get a ticket for it if you spend $50 or more. The first place winner is going to get 1 pound of marijuana. And we're going to spread that out throughout all 5 of them that we have. The second place winner is going to get a half a pound. And that's gonna be a raffle winner, and then we're gonna spread it out, so you're not getting all the same product. So that was important to me. Is you got to spread the love a little bit. Third place winner is gonna get a quarter pound, and then we have 18 ounces that we're gonna raffle away after that. We got a couple extra. Not sure what we're gonna do yet. We're holding them back just to make sure that everything comes through, because a lot of times a pound sometimes doesn't come as a pound when you get it in the back inventory. So making sure that, and then on the veteran side, we're doing you have to be a veteran to get into this raffle, and that bucket's way smaller. I can promise you that. I see it every day as I walk through the store. And that one, we're going to do 4 people will win quarter pound apiece. 4 veterans will. Then we're going to give out 16 ounces to just veterans. And that's going to be we're going to do the raffle, everything on the morning of April 21st to give our staff a little leeway, because it's going to be a very busy day that day. So yeah, we have that going on to be able to give away people. I mean, we have, like I said, 600 pre-rolls. We have doorbusters going on every day. And for the veteran one, sorry, I forgot to spoke too soon. $10, you just spend $10, you get a raffle ticket. Hell, if you're a veteran, come in, spend $1, I'll give you a ticket. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. Spend 50 cents, 20 cents. I don't care. Just come in and give a penny, and I'll give you a raffle ticket. Veterans shouldn't, I don't worry about that stuff with them. The others, come on, we got to get this competition going. So that bucket is completely full, and we are on to the second bucket. So and I'm talking a bucket that's probably 2 feet by a foot, and that thing's full of tickets. So we're on to the next one. So, I mean, I know Dan's talking about Uplifting. They're going to be there as one of our vendors. A Gold Kind's going to be there. MKX, Lit Labs, Redemption, Grown Rogue, Valor Craft, Thumb Genetics. New guys that are on the board that I'm telling everybody to look for is Old School. These guys got some unbelievable product. Unbelievable, and I'll say it 5 times. Ubaked is going to be there, and then Medietis is going to be there as well all day. So we're going to have some people in shifts. Go to our website to kind of see how everything's going. But we're really excited. It looks like a food truck is coming up. They've reached out to us today and said, we just want to come up. We're going to sit in your parking lot. So I think we're going to have a food truck out there. It's going to sell some good food for people that that need little munchies to take home with them.
I think every food truck owner needs to be out and about on 420. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I tell you, my little brother owns one in Kentucky, and he was saying, he did one of our events for us, and he said, man, I'll tell you what, if I had a truck up there, I'd put it in front of those dispensaries all the time, and it got to be making a killing.
Yeah. Well, man, so obviously your first bucket's already full.
Yeah.
So how are people's reactions? They're coming into your store right now.
They can't believe it. I mean, they're all like, are you serious? Yeah, no, we're serious. And I had a couple of people go, oh, it's got to be shake. It's got to be B buds, C buds. I told each one of these vendors, I said, look, this is going to get pretty big. I have a feeling. And this is your name. And I want you guys to be represented correctly. So if you're going to bring me overflow, you're going to get an overflow reaction. And not one of them is bringing overflow. I mean, it's not. It's all the top tier stuff. They've all, some of them were even like, well, I got a little heavy on this one, but they're like, but I really want this product to be showcased. So, I mean, we're getting them in the next couple of days. I'm looking forward to it. And then we got the Scentsy Bags. I got 50 Scentsy bags to give out. So, I mean, we have those. And what we're doing with that is kind of cool because everybody's going to want to get in for the $50 raffle. I know they will. So we're doing $50 raffle for that. For the first one, you spend $50, you get your raffle ticket, add $25 to it, and you get a Scentsy bag worth $300. So you're going to walk away with a little bit of product that you buy. So you got a little buy-in. And then you're going to walk away with a $300 bag full of products from Sensi, which is amazing. And again, it's all day. We figured today I'm at $51,000 in free product that's going out between the 20th and 21st.
That's amazing. Anton, right. Like, wow. That's just, you guys are doing such a great job at giving back. Anton, how's the veteran community responding to this? I mean, obviously our industry is giving a lot of much needed love to our veterans.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, anytime my phone rings and Kyle's on the other end, I know it's going to be a good day. So, and I'm going to say right up front, Kyle, I want one of those bags and I want some of that Frosted Farm flour. So I'm putting my order in right now. You know, it's the response that we have been getting between the veterans and the industry and the way that it's kind of come together over just the past year. It's been unprecedented. And I think it's throughout the country. I think we're making a national footprint with the way our veterans are being treated. We have things like this giveaway coming to, you know, it's expensive for some veterans living on fixed incomes who or may not have the access to get these types of products. And for the folks like Kyle and Lighten Up to be able to come out and secure those relationships with the industry and secure these products, I mean, that's love that we're not getting from our own government. And those are the folks who we signed up to serve, right? So I think it's a huge kudos to Kyle. I plan to be there much of the day, hopefully, hang out with Rick. You know, the more I think about it, maybe we can get the Cannabis out there again. I might have to shoot Haas a message and get that Cannabis out there. That'd be a good idea. But I think that the more veterans that hear about this, there's nothing to lose. Come on in and get some free weed. I mean, what's better than that?
Right. And as I said before, we're devoting next week's show to being live from Flint. So we'll be able to have a lot of folks that we can just grab and throw in front of the camera and, you know, they can express their thoughts on that. Certainly some of the veterans. For those that aren't aware, we have the Hero Project where the cannabis community is supporting veterans like Anton Harb Jr., our former Lieutenant Colonel, wasn't it, Anton? No, I'm just kidding. He was.
Yeah, I wish. Right?
I was going to promote you there, you know. So
yeah, you got promoted.
Yes. So I'm the president of the Hero Board for whatever that's worth. But Anton really does all the work, and he's got some really great stuff going on behind the scenes that we just can't quite announce yet. And soon we hope to be able to do that. That will benefits the veterans in so many other ways, right, Anton?
Yeah, I think. Like I said, the outreach that we've been getting from the MRL, now the CRA,
CRA
state level, and I mean, just every level of the industry is wanting to participate now and highlight, because at the end of the day, you know, veterans are spread out through all of our community and throughout every social justice resource, social equity resource. You know, we have our veterans, they're Black, they're brown, they're poor, they're rich. I mean, they're just in every aspect of our culture. So, you know, seeing all of these folks come together from all these different causes and promote, you know, the 22 a day veteran suicide rate, you know, and promote how cannabis can be beneficial is super important. And none of this work can be done without, you know, the folks who are on the show, without the you know, the folks running these cultivation centers and these dispensaries and people like Kyle. It wouldn't be going anywhere, and it's blowing up, and it's blowing up in a big way, and we're very happy about that.
Well, good. All right, let's let Jamie bring in our other guest who's going to talk about yet another event. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yes, so we have Attorney Dan Doyle here with us today. Thank you, Attorney Dan. I'm going to call you Attorney Dan because it just has this nice little flow to it. But thanks for your patience and for joining us. Now, you guys are preparing for a big event, not on 420, because everybody's hosting events on 420, but on 423. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, yes. On April 23rd, we have the second annual 420 Cannabis Festival. There's going to be live music. This is a consumption and sell event. So live music, consumption, good food. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a blast. I'm expecting about 7,000 attendees. At our first event, we had close to 6,000. So this one is going to be a little bit bigger.
And this is in
So-
Lansing, right?
In Lansing, Michigan, at the Dotto Riverfront Park.
So you've
Yeah.
invited the governor and the attorney general to join you, I assume, right? So
At our last event,
well,
the
it
mayor
is
showed-
it is an election year. They'll probably be there, right?
Yeah,
So
They showed up at Hash Bash. Well, Dana did.
yes.
the mayor showed up last time at our last event.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
this is your second one in Lansing. Obviously, Lansing is a bit more friendlier than Hazel Park around events.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Thank you,
Um,
Lansing.
I anticipate it's going to be a great event.
Yeah.
We have a special guest. Did I say we have Mike Tyson showing up?
Yeah. So Mike Tyson, I'm sure some of you guys have heard Mike Tyson is launching his brand in Michigan. Gummies, the shape of ears.
Ears with a bite out of them.
Ears with a bite out.
Yeah, we all remember that fight, don't we? So
Yes.
and I know Rick said he wanted to square off against Mike Tyson because he thinks he can take him. Wasn't that right, Rick? No.
Oh, actually, I just wanted to complain about him launching his product line through Common Citizen, which is one of those MCMA banned companies. So I would love to sample this product, but I just can't do it from a Common Citizen location. So wise up, Mike, but don't punch me.
Good. Words to live by. Yes. Okay.
Hey,
So talk a little bit about how much are tickets? How do people find those
Okay.
tickets? That sort of thing. And then we'll go back to Kyle again and he can plug that as well. Go ahead.
Yep. So tickets can be found online through the Eventbrite. There are tickets that are starting off at $50, and then VIP tickets. They typically start at around $200. With the VIP tickets, you get extra access, access to other areas. So that's really it's really worth it in the long run. We're gonna have over 20 brands that's gonna be there. Of course, it's sponsored by Live Well Cannabis. So that's pretty much it.
And you guys are working on more events throughout the year, correct?
Yes. We have another event coming up on August 13th. It's going to be another, of course, cannabis consumption and sale event. And of course, I guess our goal is just to be bigger than the last event. And this is our fourth cannabis festival. We were the first in the legal cannabis festival in the state of Michigan, and then we're just continuing on.
And what was the biggest lesson you learned from event 1 to event 2? I host events. I've learned my fair share of lessons. Be
Biggest
patient with
event?
the process, right?
No, be patient with the process, and we got to have a really good cleanup team because the day after the event,
True.
our cleanup is amazing.
Yeah, very true.
Yes.
Well, we really appreciate you being with us, Dan, and hope you have a successful event. And thank you for being on the
Yes.
show.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, Mike.
Mike, I
muted.
can't hear you.
Stick around. We still have the shameless plug. So I think we lost Tom Lavigne, though. I don't see him on the board. But anyway, all right. So getting back to Jamie again, just a lot. Is it pent up anxiety or just because the COVID's tamped down a bit? But just the long list of events this summer is amazing. And of course,
Yeah.
Dan Sparrow, I know he's still on the board. They're having their event on July 9th in Muskegon. I'll let him do a shameless plug here, Dan. Go ahead and unmute and talk a little bit about your event on July 9th. I know I've been invited to that. I appreciate that. And we'll give you a lot of great coverage. But what's that all about?
Yeah, the cannabis lupus that I reviewed today is actually the lead sponsor and the sponsor of the main stage for CannaBash. And the lineup is out, and everybody can check any of those things out at CannaBashFest, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's just everywhere. And you can CannabashFest.com too. You can go right to the website. But it is July 9th from 3 to 11. I think we're going to try to change that to maybe where the gates open up at 1 o'clock so people can get in there and get situated, so we can have some fans ready to watch Mr. Tom Beller with Echoes of Pink Floyd. And then, it's Kelsey Lynn, Willie J. Peso, Sloan Bone, Trick, Loonies, and then Bone Thugs and Harmony will end the evening. Definite VIP experience here with special parking, special catered food, and a premier dab bar with uplifting. Those tickets are $125 a piece, $25 for general admission, and Rare Cannabis will be doing the general admission dab bar. There will be 8 vendors there. Obviously, Rare will be doing some vending. There's going to be Kai, Nobo, High Profile, Cloud, Peer Options, Lucky's. So the new kids coming into Muskegon, they're not open yet, but they will be by the show. And we're just real excited to have everybody come on out and enjoy this great festivity, and be prepared to be warm because it is July 9th and we are on 4 softball fields.
Okay. Certainly, Muskegon has become, other than Ann Arbor, has become the focus of cannabis. What do you attribute that to, Dan? Why is Muskegon becoming like Ann Arbor West?
Well, a lot of that has to do with a lot of the groundwork. It was the birth of Sparrow Consulting, and where we really started and really lobbied the municipalities that we had a lot of contacts in. My wife, Connie, has been working in, local, state, and federal government the bulk of her career. So she knew a lot of those folks, and we really just sat down and had really great conversations with everybody. And we were able to get good ordinances through, and a lot of companies were able to come and post up in Muskegon. So we're real thrilled with the progress that's happened in the bulk of Muskegon. Obviously, our very first municipality, Eggleston, they're still stuck in the med world, and we're hopeful that they will move off and come into the light and get some of those $56,000 checks that the state has just released.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on any of the events? Feel free.
And I seriously shout out to the municipalities that are allowing us to host events like these instead of shutting us down like Hazel Park. I mean, there's plenty of data. Our last event for Sensi in Lansing was licensed for sales and consumption. There was 0 arrests. There were 0 medical calls. And this is typically the type of activity we see around cannabis events. I tell you what, like if you take some of that data from alcohol events that are serving alcohol, you're not going to see the same. And so I think all of us that are hosting events and municipalities are allowing us to do so. I think it's really important that, we help and be a voice into communities that are kind of shutting it down right now.
It is a challenge when you go across Michigan and you see one community being completely accepting, and then the next community over, really literally across the street, they're incredibly forbidding. So it's a challenge for event coordinators. With the Michigan Cannabis Business Development Group, I did 12 small business seminars across the state, but those didn't have any cannabis component to it, so I didn't have any resistance. Now I see resistance from places that would be happy to host a business seminar talking about cannabis, but not an actual fair where cannabis is featured. That's a mixed message that makes it more difficult for people to negotiate this field.
Yeah, it's still not mainstream in a lot of people's minds. And it's an educational process. Even in the hemp world, I'm on the iHemp Hour on Thursdays, same problem there. And that's not, I suppose you can smoke hemp, but it's mostly medicinal stuff, CBD stuff, but they get tarred with the same brush that reefer madness stuff. It's just across the whole spectrum. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. Perhaps as some of these older politicians move aside and the younger ones come in, things will change. What do you all think about that?
Well, you can't erase 80 years of brainwashing by the federal government. And let's face it, I mean, that's essentially what happened. Nancy Reagan, this is your brain on drugs. It was the most successful advertising campaign ever perpetrated on the face of the earth, the drug war, and it continues forward. And there are some people who just won't ever be able to shake it. And you just can't, some people you can't convince. So you have to move forward with those other people who are more progressive and who are more open-minded, and then help to get them into positions of power where they can make decisions that affect our community.
Definitely agree with that.
Any other thoughts on that?
Kyle?
I mean, I just think that, like I said in my last podcast, we leave people alone, let people do their thing, let people get out, let them grow their plants, let them go out and enjoy themselves at these festivals. Municipalities, wake up, learn. You are going to, it's going to be a good thing. It's becoming mainstream. And at the end of the day, lighten up.
Okay.
Yeah, lighten up, folks.
Lighten up. Yeah.
Lighten up.
Talk about a shameless plug, right? Talk about
That
a
was good.
shameless
That was a
plug.
nice transition there. So, and Anton, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, certainly, and I was going to ask you, I forgot to ask, there's some extraordinary number of veterans in Michigan. You gave me the number one time. It's very large. How big is it?
The exact number I don't have, but it's tens of thousands, if not hundreds. As far as my thoughts on it, I think Jamie hit it right on the head. The prohibitionists, the first thing they want to do is throw data in your face. And I think when we actually take a step back and look at the factual data, when we talk about events, it's a goose egg. There are never, I mean, I've been to all kinds of events and have never once felt a bad vibe or seen a fight break out or seen really anything that would coincide with an alcohol related event where everybody's fighting and people are drunk and falling over and puking on themselves. And I mean, so I think when we, as a society, when we talk about data, there has to be an agreement that we got to look at the data and, I mean, it doesn't make any sense at the end of the day when these municipalities are talking about the boogeyman cannabis events, and there's no need. There's no data to support what they're saying.
Yeah, I was just add, I definitely agree. And one of the things that I've been doing is trying to build relationships with all of the different municipalities, just to get them, like I said, lighten up. You can show them there's different ways. And I think a lot of our events that we've gotten through was based off our relationships with the municipalities, with the community, with the city council. It really, if you can get the boards to understand that this is, I would say, different or better than alcohol in some sense, they understand.
So
Yeah,
true.
Yep.
So true. Like the relationships and municipalities give opportunities to people they know and trust. They're a lot more hesitant to those that they don't know. They're like, wait, you're coming in our community and trying to do what? So build those relations, sit down one-on-one with them, have a conversation with them, show them the facts, the data that they want to see that's going to make them feel more comfortable about saying yes.
All right, we're going to have to leave it with that thought because we're coming to the end of the show. And some folks, well, there's a few people on here that haven't been on the show before. So we do what's called a shameless plug, where you can talk about your project, your business, how people can reach you. And of course, this show is all about events. So let's talk first to the attorney, Dan Doyle. I like that. I'm looking at his video there. He's got labeled Attorney Dan Doyle. So your event is in Lansing. One more time, tell us all about that.
Yes, it's the second annual 420 Cannabis Festival, Lansing, Michigan, Adado Riverfront Park, from noon to 11 p.m. It's an actual consumption event, and you can get your tickets on Eventbrite. Also, I want to indicate Mike Tyson will be there. Additionally, shameless plug, if you know anybody that need help with licensing regarding the cannabis industry, I'm also a legal consultant. Other than that, I hope to see everyone at the event.
Okay, Kyle and Anton, why don't you talk about your event one more time?
Go ahead, Anton.
420, come hang out with us, Lighten Up Dispensary in Flint. We're going to have a big weed giveaway. Come get your tickets beforehand, $50 purchase, right? Come spend $50. You get a raffle ticket. Veterans can come spend $10. But if you only have a penny, Kyle's going to take care of you.
We'll take care of that.
He'll take care of that. And come hang out with us. There's going to be good times, lots of vendors, lots of product. If you want to learn more about Hero Project, www.heroprojectusa.org. You can get a hold of me at aharb, AHARB at heroprojectusa.org.
Okay, cool. And then your address there, Kyle, they're probably going to want to know that Flint's kind of a big area. So what's the address?
Yeah, we're at 4184 Pier North Boulevard, and that's in Flint, 48450. I'm sorry, I gave my old one, 48504. And you can reach us at any time. One of us owners are typically always at the store at any given time, and looking forward to having people come out, and really looking forward to supporting the veterans like we always do. And I hope it's a success, and I hope people enjoy. Hope a lot of marijuana, and I'm probably going to lose some clients for a few days, I have a feeling, but that's okay.
All right. And Dan Sparrow, one more time. Why don't you plug your event on July 9th in Muskegon?
CannaBashFest, CannaBashFest.com. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, it's Dan at HatchAPlanMI.com. And I'd love to see everybody at CannaBash.
Okay.
You know what, Mike, I did have one more announcement.
Sure.
Okay, it's one of those things. My assistant just notified me, hey, you should announce this. So at the 420 Cannabis Festival in Lansing, my office will be doing, we'll be setting up to do free expungements for misdemeanor marijuana convictions for anyone in the city of Lansing. So if anyone has a misdemeanor marijuana conviction and they want to get it set aside off their criminal record, you would come to our table to get signed up to begin the process of getting that off your record. So I did want to put that notification out there for all to know, but that's it.
All right. Well, thanks very much for that. So let's go back to Jamie one more time. Too many. Just talk about Sensi, I guess, because there's too many events to list in a short period of time.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I already did that. So
Yeah, you already did
talked
that,
about the
so.
event. So I just want to talk more about the grab bags because a week from
do
today,
that.
I mean,
Yes.
this time next week, I think all those grab bags are going to be gone already. But in the grab bags, you'll find Noble Road edibles. You'll find a True North Collective pre-roll, a rare pre-roll, a select item, or actually Select put in a couple of items. We have Blooming Botanicals, Franklin Fields, Cushy Punch, Rise and Element, and Dream Edibles, Raised by Comco Wellness. Nobo put a pre-roll in there, and then Chronic Sewer Farms. So lots of great products, and you can get those bags in Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, Lansing, Northern Michigan, at both the botanical companies Taos and Kalkaska locations, Southwest Michigan, Kalamazoo and Battle Creek, West Michigan, Muskegon, Bay City, and Flint. So they are all over the state except the UP. Sorry, UP. Eventually we'll get bags up there, I promise.
All righty then. And Mr. Thompson.
Well, thanks very much, Mike. What a great show. I love talking to people that I have genuine affection for. It's been really fun. You can catch me, of course, at 420 at Lighten Up Provisioning Center. I'll be there from 1 to 4 with Redemption, but I'll be there probably a little bit before, probably a little bit after too. On the previous day, 419, I'll be down in Inkster, making an appearance there too. But this Friday, I'll be co-hosting the Green Market Report, which is a television program that takes place on Apple TV, Roku TV. I'm hosting with Morgan Fox, who is the brand new CEO, I believe, of NORML itself, National NORML. It's a 2-hour broadcast where we cover all stories from all different aspects of the United States of America's cannabis industry scene. So tune in and check that out.
Thank you, sir. And as I said before, I've said several times, we'll be in Flint at Light 'em Up next week doing a live show. And it'll be, well, for the audience, it'll look pretty much like this, but there'll be actually several of us in the same place at the same time, which is quite unusual for us, right? So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Try to get some of the folks that are attending on the show and make it a real happening kind of thing. So we'll be live again at 1 o'clock next week, April 20th. That would be 420, right? Yes. And so we'll look forward to seeing you all then. Join us for the festivities. This is Mike Brennan saying thanks for being with us today, and see you next week.